Hello, all my beautiful people, and welcome to the alternate point of view. My name is Tracy Lee, and welcome if you are new, and if you are not new, welcome back. If you have not become a member, that would be amazing if you would. So you can sign up to be a member or just subscribe. That would be awesome. Please like, subscribe, and share to this channel, and I appreciate it very much. So tonight we are going to talk about the trumped up Trump charges. Yes, those are legal charges. Apparently they're legal, so they say, in the state of New York, that the president of the United States, actually former president of the United States, but President Trump, who is running again for president, was charged with 34 felony counts. Now, what exactly was he charged with? So they kept calling it the hush money trial. It's very interesting that this was the hush money trial. So it turned out to be over $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels. Now, apparently, Donald Trump did not actually make a payment to Stormy Daniels. Now, there was some testimony, apparently, that she received some money, but not from Donald Trump. Apparently, she also claimed that she had an affair with Donald Trump, which of course he denies. So it is a he said, she said type of situation. There is also some testimony from Michael Cohen, who says that he paid her of his own free will money to be silent about this affair. Now, apparently, according to Michael Cohen, he claims that he put out a second mortgage on his home in order to pay this money. So he didn't even talk to Donald Trump about paying the money to Stormy Daniels in order to hush her up about this supposed affair. So now this supposed hush money trial, supposed 34 felony counts, went through several different channels before it finally landed in the lap of Attorney General Bragg. Now, this trial, this 34 felony counts, was denied. Actually said, no, we're not going to charge him, because this wasn't anything that they could actually do to Donald Trump. Because why? Because it wasn't anything they could touch. This was a no go where, no trial, no go where, no charge. Okay? Actually, because they couldn't connect the dots to Donald Trump. So, also because Donald Trump didn't pay her. Michael Cohen paid her. Michael Cohen chose to pay her. So, yeah. As it turns out, apparently, Michael Cohen paid her this money for whatever reason. Now, if it was to cover up an affair before the 2016 election, that's on him. Donald Trump didn't pay her. Michael Cohen paid her. Now, apparently Michael Cohen paid her and realized, you know what, I want my money back. And apparently through another person, Donald Trump supposedly paid Michael Cohen in legal fees and paid him with interest, but they were legal fees. The 34 felony counts that Michael Cohen got Donald Trump charged with or testified against Donald Trump for was for each check that cleared to Michael Cohen for $35,000. Because each check had to be written to Michael Cohen for $35,000, because that was the monthly payment that supposedly Donald Trump paid to Michael Cohen in legal fees as a cover-up for the repayment to Michael Cohen for the $130,000 that he paid to Stormy Daniels. Now, because he was paying him with interest and making sure that he was giving back the money that Michael Cohen paid, which we're not even sure if Donald Trump is aware that he paid Stormy Daniels any money. We're not even sure if Donald Trump knows that he was signing checks for that. We don't even know what this is about. But what we do know is what this is about is this is a trumped up charge against Trump. To be exact, it's 34 trumped up charges against Trump. And when I hear Michael Cohen on the news saying, I want Trump to feel what I felt, you see someone like Michael Cohen and you think, snitches get stitches. Because the crazy thing is what did Michael Cohen feel? What is he feeling? Because he chose to do this of his own accord. If Stormy Daniels was talking about Donald Trump and saying that she had an affair with him, and Michael Cohen took it upon himself to pay her to shut up, that was Michael Cohen being a sleazeball attorney and doing something that he felt the need to do for his client, to cover a story before it got out, whether it was true or not. Now, I don't know if it's true, and I don't care if it's true. Men have affairs. Politicians have affairs. As we know, Bill Clinton had an affair, a huge one, in the White House with an intern, a very, very young intern. And that got out. It exploded. I recall it. And I don't recall anyone making a big fuss, doing a whole lot. I do believe there was some impeachment situations going on, but I don't believe that we made Bill Clinton a felon. I don't believe that we kept him from running for president again. I don't recall any of these type of situations happening. I believe this is something that has never been done before, as far as a president being treated this way. I mean, they're actually going around, and I find it really hilarious because I know Zelensky was like a comedian actor, and they're throwing these videos around about Zelensky and what kind of a comedian, kind of a circus fool he made of himself before he was a leader of a country. And they're showing videos of how Macron over France was kind of like a flock of seagulls type of guy in a club dancing, and they're making fun of him. And I'm just like, it's really hilarious that you're doing that, because I mean, my God, we had a president that was a reality TV star, for God's sake. So what are you doing? What point are you making? People had lives before they were politicians and presidents and representatives and senators. I mean, good Lord, AOC was a bartender, and look where she's at. So you can't throw stones. So these people were actually people before they became rich and out of touch with their constituents, because that's what they are now at this point. So to say that Donald Trump is guilty of 34 counts of checks, he signed checks. That's what he did. He apparently signed checks that he thought were going to legal fees, which I'm sure he did. And do we care? No, I don't think we really care. I don't think anyone cares. What I think people care about is sex trafficking of children. I think people care about the economy. I think people care about all the children that are dying in the world and in our country. I think people care about homelessness. I think people care about our veterans. I think people care about, the fact that we can't afford to pay our bills, and the fact that the generation that's coming up today will never own a home. I think people care about the American dream is gone. I think people care about immigration. I believe people care about that our country is now without God. The world is without God. I believe people care about a lot more things than Donald Trump signing his name on checks that went to Michael Cohen. And I find it strange that Michael Cohen got all of this money and now he's testified against the man who wrote him those checks. So where did this get anyone in the long run? Do people really believe that Donald Trump is going to go to prison? And if he does go to prison for this white collar crime, because that's what it is, people, it's a white collar crime. I find it odd, again, that we had a president who had sex in the White House, in the Oval Office, with a very young intern. We also had a president who killed many, many people while he was in office. We also had a vice president who, while he was on the Senate floor, put more people, minorities in prison than any other senator, vice president, whatever you want to call him, now president, than any other person ever by signing the crime bill. And then we also had a president that has allowed an influx of immigrants to come into our country and make our economy the worst economy that we've had since, in 40 years, actually. And we also have a president who has had cocaine in the White House, who literally has dementia. I mean, I work with the elderly. I also had a grandmother who passed from Alzheimer's. I also had an uncle who passed from Alzheimer's. I know exactly what it looks like, and I'm sure many, many of you who are in denial know what it looks like, and this man has it. So I find it odd that people are so concerned about Donald Trump writing his name on checks and not concerned more about our country and how we have lost our way. Also, I find it crazy that if we had just left Donald Trump alone over these last 4 years, maybe if we'd never uttered his name over the last 4 years, he would have gone bye-bye. He probably would have gone away. But we had to keep poking the bear. You just had to poke the bear. And now look where we're at. Look where we're at. Look where we are. Now we have another showdown between Dementia Joe and Donald Trump. And who do you think this country is going to vote for? And what's crazy is, even crazier, is that when these felony counts came down and everyone unanimously voted guilty for all 34 counts. Now, I cover murder trials. I cover trials where the most heinous acts have been done to children. And it takes jurors longer to come back with verdicts of guilty for actual torture of children than it did for this jury to come down for 34 felony counts against a former president of our country. So I find it odd that jurors took less time to come back for 34 felony counts than it does for someone to come back for someone who tortures a child to death. Just because these people have that much hatred for a man that doesn't say the things that they want to hear him say, and they compare this man to Hitler, but yet don't believe that the extinction of Jews was a thing. But you believe in Hitler. And you compare Donald Trump to Hitler, but don't believe that the concentration camps existed. How is that possible? I ask you. So, also, you believe that people who follow Trump, now, I am not the largest Trump supporter. I'm not MAGA crazy. I'm not one of those people. But I will tell you this. I will say that, I hear people say this all the time. We have to pick the lesser of the two evils, this, that, and the other. But you know what it is? It's actually because we are missing God in this country. God was taken away from this country as soon as everyone voted Joe Biden into office. And actually, it's been gone for a while. I can't say it's just when Joe Biden was voted into office, but I can say there has been a deep, deep decline of God since Joe Biden's been into office. And I will also say this. I'm definitely not saying that Trump is a godly man, but I can see that he's finding his way back to God. I'm saying that Trump has made mistakes. We all make mistakes. We're all sinners. And God is the judge. And I will say this. I do believe that Donald Trump will bring God back into our country. And we need God. I'm not saying that Trump is in any way God, because no one is God but God. But I will tell you this as well. This country needs to be back to America. We need to be the United States of America. And I'll say something else that is going to be very offensive to very many people, and I'm not going to apologize for this. But honestly, I think the downfall of a lot of what's happened to this country has been, honestly, women in politics. I used to love strong, powerful women representing, but there are no strong, powerful women that represent because, well, you get people like the Marjorie Taylor Greens. Sometimes she says some really cool stuff and I'm like, wow, that's impressive. And then she says really dumb stuff, like what she did the other day with the fake eyelashes. And then it turns into a cat fight. And then that's really dumb and low and stupid. And then that's not smart. None of these women in politics are smart right now. They're all just, it's like they're in high school. So I don't like that. I mean, honestly, there has not been a classy woman in politics since Condoleezza Rice. I can't think of one woman in politics right now that I could say that has been of good standing and is classy enough to be in politics except Condoleezza Rice and Candace Owens. I like Candace. Other than that, no. I don't really think any woman that is in politics right now is suited to be in politics. Yeah, nope. Don't like any of them. I also would have to say, I think all politicians are bad. As they say on the Drinking Bros, and I don't say that word, I don't say the C word, but all politicians are whatever the Drinking Bros say, because they're all bought and paid for. So I don't trust any of them, to be honest with you. But since you have to have them, and we have to have them, and they are there, I will say this. Donald Trump's charges were trumped up charges, and every single one of them are a joke. And if you're not going to hold other politicians accountable for the decisions that they made in politics, like Hillary Clinton for Benghazi, Joe Biden for Afghanistan, I mean, people died. You're not going to hold politicians accountable for people dying, actual deaths. People died. No one died where Trump wrote these checks to his attorney or signed off on checks that were written to his attorney. We don't even know if he knew that these checks were for whatever Michael Cohen wrote checks for. We don't know. We're just assuming because Michael Cohen decided to say, yes, I wrote a check to some porn star and Donald Trump paid me back. So what? Who cares? They came out of Donald Trump's personal accounts. And that's fine, because it's his money. He can do what he wants with it. But people actually died. Obama killed people. Hillary Clinton killed people. Joe Biden killed people. Yeah, so figure that out. Make that make sense. Anyway, that's my trumped up Trump charges 2 cents. And if anybody has anything they want to put in the comments about that, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you don't like it, that's fine. I implore you to give me any of your opinions, comments, likes, shares. I love anyone else's other side. That's what this is all about, the alternate point of view. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Kamsahamnida.